Hello everyone, we are live. Although my TV has finally turned on. Excellent, we are live. How is everyone this evening? Hello everyone. And I've forgotten to mute everything again. And that's everything muted. One day I'll get the hang of this streaming and needing to turn everything off that is showing the stream. Hello, Mr. Leisureline Railroad. So, we have a lot of people in chat already. This is excellent. I am glad to see you all here. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. So, since there's so many people here, let's get straight into it. We are going to start this evening working on forming the roof for the brake van. I quite often struggle with measuring these, so I'm going to teach you my trick to do that. We're going to make it out of plastic card, but before we do anything with it, we need a straight edge to work from. Which, as you can see, with all the cuts taken out of this, we don't really have one. We have one over here. So I'm going to cut off this excess and we can work from there. Hello, Ballast Man. Oh, the brake van, that is the brake van we are working on. That one there is the as-built version of these brake vans, which I built some years ago, probably 2, maybe even 3 years ago now. And so we are now building the rebuilt version, which didn't have the lookout lantern on the roof. It also means we're going with a slightly darker livery, which is why that one is so light grey. That's the early LBSC lavender grey. Whereas this will be the later livery with LBSC on the side in big letters. So, as I was saying, I quite often struggle with measuring these because I'm no good at measuring a curve. They're not the easiest thing to measure. Because we want to get the roof to stick just over there, curve nicely, stick over there. The way I do that is to place the brake van and roll it along. And that gives us an accurate measurement. I'm just going to do that again where I can get a better view of it. And make a quick nick in the side there. And a quick nick just along the length. And this makes sure we have the right size roof. And I am again going to roll it and just mark up there where it's rolled to. So, for people like me that struggle to measure things that are curved, that is how we do it. Of course, the alternate and probably proper way would be to do that with the ruler, which I measure as 30mm doing it that way. There's 32 there, which is my slight overhang that I want. And as I can just confirm there that all these markings I have done match up with each other. So a few cut marks, a few scores along there. And we will have the plastic for the roof to the right size, which I can roll over there again and confirm is the right size. Although it has snapped off slightly there, so I'm just going to smoothen this up. Oh, hello Luke, I missed your message come in. How is everyone this evening? Have we had a good day? So you can see that I now have a roof that's about the right size. Now of course the problem there is this is flat, that is curved, so we need to get that a curve. That's an interesting thing. I'd be very interested to know what that tool is. If it does, if you do remember, that would be excellent. So, forming this to shape, because a flat roof's no good to us, we need a curved roof. Luckily, we have my friend generic funny shaped crisps and a pair of tights stolen from the ex. To go with my other good friend, boiling water, so we'll just stick the kettle on. And apparently my friend double-sided tape, because I've forgotten to take the sellotape out. And it's not even in the same room as me. Excellent, thank you Leisure Line Railroad, that's very much appreciated. I am good, Luke, thank you. So, our good friend, double-sided tape. I would usually use sellotape for this, but I forgot to bring it in pre-stream, and I'm not going to go hunt through the cupboard for it now when I've got something here I can use instead. So I'm just going to stick that to the side of the generic crisp tin. I am then going to put the generic crisp tin into the pair of tights stolen from my ex. A contour gauge, excellent, thank you. I will look them up. I'm just going to bundle the excess of the tights over the roof, and that gives us a bit of pressure on the roof which is even all the way round. Also on its own that pressure is not much good to us. I'm even going to do this, this just increases the pressure that little bit. On its own that pressure is not much good to us, so I was saying that will just flick back to shape as soon as it comes off. So, our good friend Mr. Boiling Water comes out and we fill the Pringles tube. I assume you can't see that, no matter where I put it. One of the reasons I use Pringles tubes is I know they're watertight. I am quite safe doing that. It's filled most of the way up. And that is already very hot round there. That heat is going to make the plastic keep its curve that we have put on it with the tube, and we're going to put that aside till later in the stream when it has had time to set. $12, that's not bad at all. I will have to look at getting one of them, because it does seem like something that would be very, very useful. Now, whilst we wait for that, I have noticed that these windows have quite a lot of rough edges. They're really noticeable in the photo I took that I used as the title photo for this stream. So I'm just going to get one of my small files and file them down a bit. I'm just using a flat file on all the 4 sides, and I will then get one of the curved files just to do the corners. Hello, Linny. How are you? It is good to see you here. I know, it's a horrendous noise that my files make. So does everyone else's. So now I've got a rounded file that I'm just going to use to do the corners. I think these back windows actually have square corners. I've just realised I forgot to do the ones at the other end. What's that I hear you say? Shouldn't you have filed all these before painting it? I won't tell if you don't. We can always pretend I did. I mean, if you've come here to expect perfect modelling with no mistakes, you're in the wrong place, really, and you should know that by now. And so I think, really, the next thing we should do is give this a second coat of paint. So that way it can have the second coat of paint on and be, hopefully, dry by the time the roof is ready to come out of the former. I used a round file for the corners. They're as rounded as I can get them with a knife, Linny. If I wanted perfection, I would use the silhouette cutter that is actually sitting under the printer at the moment. But let's be honest, where's the fun in that? Now, Linny, important question, because I've forgotten. In the lavender grey livery, the chassis was painted the same colour as the body. Is that still true of this livery? I honestly can't remember. So again, much like last week, very thin coats. Do not use too much paint. You will cover up the detail. It's one of the reasons you get a much better finish with an airbrush, because you get a much thinner coat of paint. Soul bar same as body, that's what I thought. Thank you very much, Linny. Much appreciated. So we shall get this coat on, and hopefully this will give us the finish we want, and we won't need any more coats after this. We can also get a coat on the chassis now, because despite the issues that chassis has had, it has dried beautifully now and is all nice and solid. Yes, but your time spent with those LBSC books is good time. It means I can ask you questions on things that I've looked up and forgotten. It's good to have someone here who knows how the finished product should look, right down to livery. Ooh, working on a brake van. Same diagram as this or a later one? I know you have a brass one of the as built, which you really should finish. Yes, but who can avoid the temptation of the Brighton, Linny? It's definitely the superior railway. Ooh, passenger D47. Excellent. I assume that is with the new method you are doing to produce things now. I won't mention it because I don't know if you've gone public with that. Yeah, I know you're all for the LSWR, Alex. We can't all be perfect. Some of you have to like these other railways. So has anyone got anything they're working on at the moment? I would never say you haven't provided LBSC models, Linny. I have a few of them to build on stream at some point. Very nice they are too. Still on the J-Class. Still working on the cab interior? Very interesting what you're doing with that. You found the wrong crank pin. So what else is missing crank pins, Luke? Oh, that's excellent, Leisure Line. I am glad to hear you're coming up with something. I would love to see the things you've built in Satisfactory, Alex. When is it coming on stream for us to watch? And remember, I'm at club tomorrow, so that would be a terrible day to do it. Oh, fair enough, Luke. Can't have too many Hornby 040 chassis to cut about and steal things from. If I had any form of Hornby chassis, I steal quite a lot of stuff from them. Oh no, my red paint's going funny. Have I really had it that long now? Oh, excellent. I shall look forward to that then, Alex. Right then. I should really have painted the soul bars whilst I had the grey paint out, shouldn't I? Never mind. Twice as much track. That's the downside to having a track plan, is realising how much money you need to spend. As you can see from those first two panels, that extra coat really makes a difference. I said, I've yet to find a vermilion paint that goes on well. This is a lot better than I normally get after two coats of this. Oh, that's not good. No, that's not good at all about that Miller not setting properly. I've never actually used it. The filler I use is actually in shot at the moment. Definitely not the best one, but it works for me, and that's what matters. Yeah, I like that technique of buying things little by little over time and just pretending they didn't cost lots of money. That's a great technique. Yeah, I've heard milliput is great normally, but if it's not curing, then that's not exactly ideal, is it? I've not done a huge amount of sculpting with the Revell stuff that I use. When I file it, it goes quite powdery, so it's probably not great for having to sculpt things. But I don't think that's an issue I've ever come across. Who needs to retire when you can have trains? Right, chassis time. Let's take the couplings off as we don't want to paint them. It didn't fly anywhere, you saw nothing, it's right there. Some coupling sets you buy are come in as, you know, as bare brass. It is best not to paint them. You can chemically blacken them, which just tarnishes the brass to a nice black finish without actually adding anything to the surface. So that is what you want to do in that case. That's not what I wanted to see. That is, the brass plate off the end has come with it. Thank you, Alex. Much appreciated. I've never used green stuff either. Mr. Lancaster probably can't hear me still at the moment, so he can't hear me saying I don't like green stuff. I've never used green stuff, but yeah, so if anyone would care to fill him in. Currently on his way home from a rather long day out, but he has been to the NRM, so it's probably worth the long day out. Just going to put some more glue on here as we did last week. Would you believe I've actually taken these couplings off through the week to make sure that these were stuck properly, and they were absolutely fine. So to go back to it now and this to happen is quite irritating. I'm just going to put the light behind that so I can make sure I can see through. Yeah. Oh, you people with your posh fillers that do stuff. It's almost like you know what you're doing already. Especially at least one person here who normally tells me they don't. But again, he can't hear me. That's a clever idea. I never thought of that. Measure line. I have plenty of plastic cement and styrene as well, so I shall try that at some point. Hydration time, children. Yeah, to any children that is that are watching. Probably none at this time of night. Certainly no British ones. And if you are a British child watching this live, why are you not in bed? But don't go to bed, obviously. Stay watching the stream because I love having you here. Just, why aren't you in bed? Right, I'm going to stay off that end for now, but we shall carry on regardless because the chassis is the only thing we've got to work on. So I'll just pop the wheels out. I'll start with the sides, so let's get the grey paint back. Now, when painting things that are going to get a butt join together like these, I always overpaint underneath where the join's going to be, because that makes sure nothing is exposed of the original colour if things don't line up quite right. Obviously it gets awkward at corners where you have two different colours, but we will cross that bridge when we come to paint that. Luke, I mean, that's a reasonable excuse. As I said, we want you here. We don't want you to go anywhere. I like having all these viewers live, but it's definitely past your bedtime. Carry on watching anyway, though. I'm a responsible parent to my own kids. Oh. Not showing vid, but that's strange, Leisure Line. Although my TV initially wasn't showing the video, it just gave me a black screen. But quality on it now looks fine, so I don't know what's up there. So there we are, some nice grey sole bars to match the body. The ends will be in vermilion to match the body. the ironwork and footsteps will go black. Unless Linny corrects me, but I'm pretty sure they are black. Passing Nottingham. It is past your bedtime, Luke. You're a child. All children go to bed before 9 o'clock. It's a known fact. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't have to lie to my children and say bad things happen if they don't go to bed. So, but it definitely is past your bedtime. But stay anyway. I'm glad you remember you're the child of the stream, though. Football's black, ironwork should also be black. That is what I thought, thank you, Linny. You'll notice the body doesn't have any ironwork on it yet. Wash the thinners off, because they stink. And that's the only reason I wash this between every use of thinners, is because they do absolutely stink. And it all gets up the brush and continues to stink. Hydration time. Normally I have a large bottle of Coke, but I actually forgot to buy any today, so I just have the one drink to last me all night. Body oil, oh, should it? I thought fair enough, I thought the handrails on the body and stuff were black, actually. Handrails, lamp irons, etc. But I shan't pick that out if it's not correct. Now, do I want to paint just the... Yes, I do want to paint just the one end, because then we can start posing things. I don't really want to paint up the other end until that glue's had a little longer to go off. You see, I ask all these questions about livery, and Linny helps out with that. If I was doing this on my own and not on a live stream, I would of course have the book sitting next to me and flick through that. So it's an important thing to remember. Always, always, always have reference material nearby. As I say, on stream right now, Linny is my reference material. Linny's much better at retaining this knowledge than I am. Either that or they have the book sitting next to them. So again, we go across the top. And as we reach the corners, because we're changing colour, we come in diagonally. I was going for LBSC livery, Linny. The latter of the two, I think. I'm sure we're going for LBSC livery, 1912. And this will be in the current livery of 1912. Probably only the handrails picked out in black then. Lamp iron's great. Okay. Does that include lamp irons on the end, which are, or are they vermilion? You see everyone, you can't do this all on your own. You can really though, if you're not live streaming and can sit and take your time and read books. Because much research is what's needed. I do the research and forget it 5 minutes later. I'm sure my lack of... I was planning on weathering, yes. Not immediately when finished, because weathering is still something I'm quite new to. But yes, I am planning on weathering. And there we have vermilion on the ends. Where can I buy a linny? Linnies don't come cheap, unfortunately. They're very useful, but they're quite expensive. Don't. So we'll go for LB-SCR livery, LB and SCR livery then, Linny, because I've already painted them vermilion. I thought the end stayed vermilion throughout, like I thought the vermilion ends stayed all the way through in SR liveries as well. Never mind all the LBSC ones. This is all very useful information, Linny. Very, very useful. Would have been useful last week as well. Excellent, Alex. A self-sustaining base. Only 18 hours of gameplay. That's almost like you haven't played it at all. I mean, come on, before I had a job or model railways, I used to play like 18 hours of gaming a day. That's right. Don't, no need to be sorry. We will just paint over it. Because I can't exactly use those thinners to take that off, and I don't have anything else suitable at the moment. So we'll let this dry and we'll paint over the ends. As you have seen before, stuff like this, I'm not going to let it bother me. Mistakes happen. They're not the end of the world. In the meantime, we can paint the black on here black. So I've been a bit obsessed this weekend is an understatement. Excellent, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Alex. That black looks almost empty. I know I checked this before the first stream to make sure I had enough. So I'd best have enough. It's formed a skin because it didn't close properly. Excellent. These ones. And there is that skin. That can go over here where it's not going to get touched by anything. There's not a lot of usable paint left in there. Exactly, Luke. Mistakes can be rectified. In 1903, it'll be interesting. I broke down into painting the body colour. From 1911, the body colour was changed to an even darker grey. Similar to GI, and I was no longer painted black. In 1903, the 11 was briefly. You copied that twice. Right, when you say ironwork no longer black, Linny, from 1911, because the 1911 livery is actually the one I wanted to go for. What about the chassis? Yes. Yes, that is a good reason to go freelance. I used to be freelance when I believed myself to not be good enough to do stuff like this. For exactly that same reason. Now, tip here that I know at least some of you know because I have said it before. I am painting black things black because the black things that are currently on here are black plastic. And black plastic always looks like black plastic. A surface that has been painted black, on the other hand, looks like a surface that has been painted black, which of course is what we're after here. Chassis soul bar is body colour, everything below it is black. Right. So, in that case, I assume, and I'm going to confirm with you here, the way I have painted the uprights for the footboards with them grey on the chassis and black black underneath the chassis would be correct. Yes. Wainwright is not an easy livery to paint. My attempt at it looked okay on my P-Class until Hatton's released theirs. God, that looks so much better on the big screen than it did on my phone. Excellent, thank you. I will stick with how I'm doing this then. I'm trying to keep it on screen. Hello Nathan, how are you today? Welcome to the stream. We are currently painting the chassis and painting lots of things in the wrong colours because that's how we do things around here apparently. So we'll be doing some more painting to correct that later. We have also got, sat down next to me, a makeshift former turning the forming some plastic for the roof. We cut that to size earlier, and so now it is just getting its curve. We shall be having a look at that shortly, with any luck. And as I've just said to the rest of the stream, I am painting black plastic black because black plastic looks like black plastic. Whereas once it's painted black, it does not. Painting the back of all the staples now as well. I'm doing very well myself, thank you Nathan. And we'll be doing even better once I've resolved these paint colour issues. Let's get that black off there and hope we don't need to do a second coat of that because that tin is not going to do it. Obviously did not seal very well at all when I last had it out because it is horrendous. It's one of those jobs where I need something to wipe it off on, which I definitely don't have. No, I know what you are, I cannot use you. Nope, I have nothing to wipe this off on. Excellent. I suppose we could wipe it on the tights on here, it's not like she's ever going to want them back. Now that's going to need a lot more time in the thinner. Because that paint really is horrendous. It's still well in those bristles. It is a brake van I am building. The London Brighton South Coast Stroudley brake van in its rebuilt form. So we have sat here the as-built version that I built a few years ago now, and the one we are building now is after it was rebuilt and the lantern lookout on the top was removed, replaced with windows in the end as per this drawing. Okay, that's looking better. I think we've got it all off. I would love to say it does make me feel better, but it doesn't. It does, however, make me feel your pain, Lily. That is not fun when stuff like that happens. Right. There's the end. Let's see. If we at least have a breakdown roof here. Oh look, it's definitely taking the shape quite nicely, so it would seem. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to give that a little bit longer. Okay, Mr. Moderator. I don't know why I'm responding. He can't actually hear me unless he watches all this back afterwards. So he'd best watch it all back afterwards. So I'm just going to wrap this round again to increase the tension as we did before. Now, you might love Twycross Zoo, Alex. Words are not my friend tonight, are they? You might love Twycross Zoo, Alex, but our moderator reliably informed me earlier that he had to get up at 5:15 this morning for his day of fun. Would you still love Twycross Zoo after that lack of sleep? Because that's the sort of thing that would make me decide I didn't want to see it. Good news. This red paint has gone off. I wonder if you can just about see that on screen. My finger's not even attempting to stick to it. So I'm going to get rid of it. If only I'd known from the start. This is why research is important and remembering things is important. Because of course I did the initial red paint last week and I never looked at colour schemes for the ends again through this week. Otherwise I would have caught that myself. But it's good to have a Linny on hand to tell us these things. Lack of sleep be damned. Yes, if you say so. I know your opinions on lack of sleep, really, Alex. For the purposes of lag, I said that as soon as your message popped up. And of course the problem here is after 3 coats, the planking detail on this end is really starting to fade under it all. Which is a shame, it's not going to be as nice a model as it could have been. But at the same time, if it's marshalled in a train, how often are you going to be looking at the ends? as long as one of them looks good. Yes, Harry, indeed. They are very useful things to have. I have the same problem with every tin of Buffer Beam Vermilion. I have never found a paint brand that has been a decent thickness. I don't know what it is about red paint that no one seems to be able to make it of a usable consistency. I had, before this Phoenix tin, I had Humbrol Buffer Beam Red. And it was like water. It was terrible. In fact, that's why I went for the Phoenix one, because I thought, oh, well, you know, being Phoenix, it'll be better. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not. Hello, Ian. Good to see you here. I am using number 27. This is for the later LBSC livery, though. 1903 onwards. I used a much lighter grey for my earlier livery, which I believe would be the sort of period that you would model. And I can't remember what I used for that. Oh, okay, got a recipe for lavender grey, that's fine then. Yes. I can't remember what I used. It would be good to know what I did use, because I will need to have more stuff in that livery as well. But right now, this is going in the later livery and will be a relatively recently refurbished piece of stock on Hailsham, because this is going into the 1911 livery and Hailsham is set 1912. The Humbrol red I had was the rail colour Buffer Beam red. I can't remember what its number is. That is all still wet. I can't go over that yet. So that will have to stay as it is. And I seem to be about the only modeller I know that has never actually owned any Games Workshop paint. So our moderator should be joining us very shortly from somewhere he can actually hear us. So we'll have to start being nice about him. I will. Quick hydration. Does anyone think LTSC on Lavender Grey was the same as LBSC? I don't know enough about the London, Tilbury and Southend to answer that, actually, Harry. It could have been. There were certainly other railways that shared very similar liveries, so there's certainly no reason it wouldn't have been. Fair enough, yeah. I have a model shop quite close to me. Admittedly not in the same town as me, but only 10 miles or so away, so I can usually get model colours, but things like pants, I now usually try and plan ahead what I'm going to need and get them in bulk from a show where someone is selling Phoenix. Alright, so as we can see, we have a roof now that follows quite well to the contour of the Pringle tin. And I can't remember which side I stuck with the tape. It is that side. This is where sellotape would be better, because of course I don't want to distort this as I'm taking it off. But we do now have a curved roof. So I'm just going to clean the double-sided tape off the back there with the IPA, which I have very cleverly wrapped the phone charger around. Unlike most of the time when I do this, this will probably need more than the one cotton bud. Do not leave the lid off that stuff too long. Especially if you're live on the internet. So as I said, more than one cotton bud needed. It's a good job these things are so cheap. I probably could re-dip it in the IPA, but I don't like reusing dirty cotton buds or things. Because once I've gunked it up once, that's enough for it. Ah, spilt it on me, that's not good. Oh well, never mind. We're slowly getting there. Slower than I'd like, to be fair. Because I can't imagine watching me clean everything is the most entertaining thing. But it needs doing. We're doing this properly. And in real time. In fact, if anything, we're doing it slower than real time. Because of course, if you're scratch building normally, you're not constantly looking at chat and replying to chat and things. So this actually, you should be able to build one of these quicker than I can. Right, that is that clean. So now you can see the roof holds itself almost perfectly to shape. Without me having to actually put any pressure on it to do so. Which is what we were after. So we can shortly stick that on. A rebar gun. That sounds dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Right, Linny, back to the livery questions. Just want to confirm. Roofs were still white, weren't they? That is still very wet round the ends of the buffers. Now, before I get this wrong again, yeah, they were definitely white. Yeah? It did. The Pringles tin always works. That is always my method for doing these roofs. And that includes on my long bogey coaches I made before. The roofs for them were done in exactly the same method. Nope, grey. I'm very, very glad I checked. Very glad. Plus, no, I know they wouldn't have stayed white for long, but when I'm doing these, as per how I did my four-wheelers, I like to start with the white and weather it down to a darker, to a greyer with spray when weathering. But grey it is. I've got plenty of grey, that's fine. Let's give it another shake up quickly. So what you're saying anyway, Linny, is that, come the later years, in the Stroudley years we were nice and extravagant with our paint. Come the later years, they just stopped buying other colours. So well, we can save some money by buying just grey paint. We'll get a bulk discount on it. Just chuck the thing over everything. Which obviously is why they stopped doing the white upper panels on the carriages. Right, little trick for holding this, because I'm going to paint the whole thing. I'm going to stick a blob of blue tack to the bottom of it. Wait, I need... For the record, everyone, I had started painting this before Linny's message saying to wait came up. Because lag. So we'll go back to this trick. I'm just going to cut the head off a cotton bud. These, unlike most cotton buds, are solid. I will not be buying these ones again. I would rather they had a little hole through them and were easier to cut, because I quite often find myself cutting the heads off to use for various things. I'm just going to stick that to the bottom with a lump of blue tack, and now I can hold that whilst I paint it. And now we wait for Linny to confirm that they are grey. I'm really, really, really hoping they are grey. Oh good, you could see me cutting that off, that's what I wanted. Have a drink whilst we wait for Linny. Because I don't really want to... Okay. Yeah, they will have been grey in service very, very quickly. But because this van will have been so newly outshopped, I don't want it to be as dark as the body if it would have started off in white. Come back, white paint, we love you, we didn't mean to throw you away. It was Linny, blame Linny. Yeah, I know they darken very quickly, but I want it to darken separately to the body. So I will make it grey with the airbrush in weathering. I'll actually use black to do that, as I did for my Stroudley four-wheelers, which are in fact up on the side. Hang on a second so we can see. This would have been much easier without the lag. Yes, it would have. So my Thomas the Tank Engine four-wheelers. These were painted originally, they're mahoganies, they were painted with white roofs. And the grey that I've got on the roof was done with the airbrush. onto the white, using black paint onto the white, which I've used to be able to tone, so we've got lighter edges than we have through the top. So where the smoke was going directly over the top, and I've got it's varied through all the different carriages, and that's the effect I'm going to be going for on this when it's done. As that started with a white base and was toned down with black from the airbrush. So that is how I shall be doing that. Ooh, that's sticky. I do use additional lighting. In fact, I'm going to move the camera slightly and show you this, because I'm very proud of this light. Hopefully I'll get us back to roughly the same position. So up above on the sides of the workbench, I obviously have my standard light there which shines down is the main light that I can see with. But my background light is an LBSCR stamped oil lamp which has been converted to electric. It is very, very nice. Oh, and then there's my microphone on camera as well. So yes, I do use additional lighting which is just for this, and that is on top of having the room light on as well. So, white for the roof. In fact, just to show the contrast, I will turn my two lights off. So that's the main light I can see with, and that's the posh oil lamp off. So you can see it does make quite a difference to the stream just having the room light. So I'm just going to turn them back on. Like I've got loads of white paint. Oh, there's some LED stuff. No, my light's quite fancy, isn't it? I am very proud of my light that sits on the end of the workbench. The actual light of the room is, however, an LED, so they're not necessarily brilliant. In fact, no, the light in the oil lamp is also LED, I think, now. I got that. I got it on eBay on Boxing Day. It ended. It was in quite bad condition. It took me 2 days polishing that lamp, but it was worth every second of it. It does need a polish again now, so that will probably get done at some point through the week. This brush seems to still have a lot of thinner in it. Did I forget to wash it? I can tell it's thinner because it's leaving marks down in the paint on the lid. But yeah, my LBSC lamp is very posh, but of course it's sitting at the wrong side for me to get the light from it. So it's actually the lamp up there that lights up most of what I'm doing to my eyes. Whereas the LBSC one is a lot brighter, so actually provides most of the lighting for the sake of the camera. I mean, in theory, Harry, yes, I could polish it on a stream. But would you want to sit and watch me with a bit of Brasso polishing a lamp? It's a very nice lamp. I can take some photos of it to stick on Twitter if you'd like to see some more detail of it, and Instagram for that matter. Rivets, yes, adding rivets, it's riveting. Look, I've got kids, I make dad jokes, deal with it. $200 rivets to a CAD model instead of 20. Well done. I'm going to stick that up with another bit of blue tack to hold it upright whilst it dries, because I have painted all over the top and all over the sides, so whatever way I put it down, yes. I'm glad that I'm not having to do CAD. I mean, not only would it kill my laptop, but I'm just not very good at it. So we now have, in shot, all the major constituent parts. of our breakdown. Right, Harry, the two yeses you've got, and obviously because of lag issues with me seeing what you're reacting to, is that a yes to wanting to see me stream it and a yes to some photos for Twitter and Instagram? If you want to teach me CAD, Lenny, that would be brilliant. You know, you're always welcome down at Oak Hill Towers. And you have commented on how comfortable my sofa is to sleep on, so yes, that would be excellent to learn some CAD. Probably have to wait till I've got a new laptop though. So yes to both. Okay, I will have to sort something out for doing that then, because I wouldn't. I mean, I'd probably stick it in as an extra stream somewhere rather than the main Sunday night stream. Maybe a daytime stream, if that would be acceptable to people. Because, of course, Alex the Mole here streams the other 6 nights of the week, and I would not want to interfere with that or compete with that at all, because I'll be there watching it, basically. I'm sure you do remember me talking about it on Christmas Day on Twitter, Luke. I was very excited to be getting my lamp. I had sat and watched it on eBay all the way through as it counted down. I found it about 5 minutes after it had been listed. Yeah, it was excellent. I was so excited to get that, and I'm still very excited to own it. Right, that is dry enough that I'm going to overpaint in the grey again. So, come back grey. I would love to come up to Linton Town sometime, Linny. Of course, the issue there is children. I am still a single parent, so someone has to look after them, and they have to go to school. See you later, Linny. Okay, Harry, it definitely won't be a Monday, as I go to my model club on a Monday. And not on a Monday or after 3:30. That is fine. We could maybe do something on a Saturday or a Sunday through the day, where I'll come on stream and as I'm polishing my lovely brass lamp. Welcome back, Mr. Lancaster. How are you? Have you had a good day? It's weird to have talked to you as little as I have today. In fact, I've not really talked to anyone today because I've been busy. Not before 3:30. Okay, that's fine. After 3:30, sometime on a weekend, that'll be fine. I'll have to have a think about when I can do it. And I will probably do Twitter and Instagram posts saying when I can do it, and we'll sort it out from there. It'll be a bit more of an informal stream. Hello Killian, welcome. You might be a bit, I mean we're about halfway through the stream, so you're a bit late, but never mind. I hope you are well anyway, Killian. How are you? 13,000 steps, Mr. Lancaster. I do 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day, and I have arthritis in my knee. So don't give me none of that. Oh, my legs are tired rubbish. In fact, there's days I do 10,000 steps. Those are days when I see a friend and we go on nice walks together. And I've just remembered she knows that I stream on a Sunday night. Oh, I am very well, thank you, Killian. Yes, I've had a good day. I spent the day with my niece and nephew who normally live a good few hundred miles away, so it's been a great day and I'm in a great mood and I've been very excited to come and stream and talk to all you wonderful people. You care not, Mr. Lancaster. I don't know. Terrible. Right then. Everything's the right colour. We need to get down to some more details. Because soon this is going to be ready to put together and stick some transfers on and call a finished model. Wash my brush and we shall have some close-up looks at what we've got. There's the problem with the glass sheet. Everything rolls. Right then. Let's put that on there. And we have what is starting to look quite like a brake van. And you can see from here why I painted the tops of the chassis, etc. Even though there is an air gap under there, it's a lot less visible because of painting the top of the chassis. Excited to get your Sentinel, even though it hasn't been ordered yet. Well, you want to get her to order it before they sell out, because I might just go and buy them all to spite you, Luke. And I'll have a whole collection of them. I'll put them all along the back of the workbench for streams. It would be great for you to come down personally, Luke. You would definitely be welcome. So guys, details. Wire, handrails, now we can straighten this wire quite easily. We'll pull like that, although I obviously messed it up. Yeah, I wasn't going to mention the fact that you haven't paid for your J39 yet, Luke, and it's sitting here waiting for you to pay still. In fact, Luke, there is your J39. It lives under the workbench. Oh, thank you, Mr. Lancaster. I shall look forward to seeing those. It's very kind of you to do those shots for me. So, end of the wire, and just bend through 90 degrees. It is then enough. Poke that through the end very slightly. Grab the other end where it's needed. Bend that through 90 degrees, or a bit more in this case apparently. And chop it off. Now I always make the handrail arms slightly over long. I've actually made that handrail slightly longer than it's needed to be, so if I shorten that down a bit. So I always make these this length because then once they are through, this end does not want to go through this hole. There we go. Once they are through, the glue can be applied from behind onto the bit of them that sticks out, and so that means you don't get any glue spill through the front. So we shall finish that side, this side. So grab, bend through 90 degrees. It's still going to be easier from this side. Poke the tip through the hole. Grab. And bend through 90 degrees. Cut the other end off. And insert into the brake van. And there we have the beginnings of the handrails. There we go, it can focus, honest. One of them's bent, obviously someone's been a bit rough with it. Straighten it out a little bit, but at the same time you don't want all these things to be perfect, because they wouldn't have been in real life. They would have got bent and damaged and knocked. So Mr. Glue Pot can come back out. Squirt onto the workbench. PG stream, people. and I'm just touching in the glue from behind. PG stream people. Onto the handrails. And that is all that takes. Now, the problems arise when you're an LBSC modeler. Specifically, us modelling Stroudley things, because Mr. Stroudley is a little bit of a pain in that his handrails were rather fancy looking. Is that the one I want? I don't think it is. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. It's a flat head. Great. That's helpful that I've lost that. This drill bit's about the right size anyway. So, the handrails. Well, good night, Mr. Turbo Snail. As I said, I won't be able to be there for the stream tomorrow because I will be at club. I will, however, be watching it back later. So we're going to ignore these comments from the moderator. We're going to work on a handrail. Now, I quite often mess these up. In fact, no, I should do this bit first. This is why I messed them up. So at the bottom, the handrails curve around. And then go in. That's a bit long, so I'm just going to snip a bit of that off. In fact, this is way, way over scale regardless. I'm going to cut that whole end off and start again. Luke, I think you're suffering from a lot more lag than the rest. You've only just asked about the J39 on chat here, but no, I can't get it out. I'm not sure it's actually in one piece at the moment. But yeah, that's a hell of a thing to ask on a PG stream, Luke. So we're going to do this a bit closer to the edge, as we should have done to start with. Now, when getting things that are this close and together, I won't bend it by hand because it just won't be accurate enough. I will end up hitting something else, bending something else, making huge problems for myself. So I'll do it with the tweezers. And we'll get something that's actually reasonably close to scale. And that actually wants to be the bottom handrail. I've just bent that a little bit round the drill bit in place to mark where I wanted that bend to be. because I'm now on the longer side, I can bend that down by hand. I'm just going to, that's not even attempting to be straight. Stop sniggering in the back there. Yeah, that looks right. As I said, I quite often mess these handrails up because they are such a complicated shape. You can get Stroudley pattern handrails pre-done for you. But where's the fun in that, eh? Well, I can make one that's a million miles over scale, but still good fun. Just knocked one of the roof struts out of the breakdown as well. There it is. I'm not happy with that handrail at all. This loop at the top is way too big. But that's okay, it's a bit of wire, we can straighten it back out. Indeed, Mr. Lancaster, fun is the important part. That is the whole reason I'm doing this stream, to show you how fun it is to scratch build. And you see all the fun in real time. I mean, I say real time, but I'm pretty sure there's less lag on an episode of Big Brother Live. God, things I reference. Don't watch Big Brother, by the way, even when it was on. That's going to be way too close now. Yeah, way too close. I actually wanted it back there, but that's okay. Because we can adjust these things. It's still too big. Get it done then, Luke. I wonder if it's the right size for this other side, because those holes appear to be slightly closer together. Because I'm good at drilling things the same. No, they're not. But if I grab that in about the same place I grabbed the last loop, that I am much happier with. What have I done to your J39? I've serviced your J39, Luke. I've made it run beautifully like a brand new locomotive despite being on a Triang chassis. I mean, I say despite, but the Triang chassis aids things because those motors are wonderful. No matter what anyone says. I'm so happy with that. I'm going to get some glue on it straight away. Again, just glue around the bits I've left sticking up out the back. Luke, your stream is definitely really far behind. Just to give you a hint, that is, you know, you've just popped up saying you think your stream's quite far behind when I have said this now. Thank you, Ian. I am glad you approve. And thank you, Alex. I am very happy with how it's going. Of course, the thing is, if Linny had pointed out earlier that the handrails were actually grey in this livery and not black as I initially thought, I would have done the handrails and stuff sooner before painting it. The only reason I've left them till now is because I thought they were going to be black and I was going to paint them before sticking them in. But yes, I'm very happy with how that looks. Time to make another one. As you see, you know, it's taken me time to make that. But it's not like those handrails are impossible to make. It is just wrapping the wire around the drill bit. I'm going to squeeze that together ever so slightly. Measuring what I need and doing it again. Sure, it might not be right first time, but I'd much rather be doing it this way than buying etched ones. What I'm going to do this time, actually, I'm going to grab here and then use that as my guide to where the drill should be, rather than trying to put a bend in it. Because that's probably how I've done it in the past. Now, of course, much like last time, we can see the first attempt at this handrail hasn't gone quite so well. The bottom's fine. The top's a bit more of an issue, though. But I have at least got it in both the holes first time. Gary's had a brainwave. And that brainwave is, apparently, I don't have 6 hands. Who knew? I do, however, have tools designed to help me hold things. So I should probably use them. They were very nice photographs you did for Alex. I hope that he appreciates them. And this isn't quite straight and it knocked it out of alignment because of it. It is, however, the right length. And I believe much better looking. Maybe this one isn't quite the right length. You don't need to imagine what photos they could be, Alex. They went up on Twitter earlier. I know it's your no social media day, but there's no need to imagine. You can go and have a look. They're very nice photos, and he did take them just for you. And so there we go, handrail the second. The good news is I am looking at the drawing as I do this and making sure I get them round the right way. Oh, don't put that in the glue, that's my good one. There we go. Glued in. Yes, the D-class photo you put up earlier was very nice, Mr. Lancaster. If you carry on doing things like that, I'm going to have to get my D-class kit out and build it. Out of context, Mr. Mole. I mean, they were your words. There was no editing done to it. They were the exact words you said in the order you said them. So now we go back to the basic handrails on the other side, which are nice and kind of straight. And I should really stop bending these this way and actually bend them at an angle where I can lay the wire down. Hello, Linny. Hello, Corbs. Thank you for tuning in. I was not expecting it, as I know you were busy exhibiting this weekend. Much appreciated. And good night, sir. Thank you for your compliments. Oh, I saw nothing, Linny. Yes, I agree. I saw nothing. So, Linny, now that you're back, what do you think of my slightly overscale Stroudley door handles? Or door handrails. I know what I'm trying to say. That's the handrails done for the side handrails done for that. I'm going to get some glue on them before they fall out. Where did I put the pin? There's the pin. Only 59 photos. I mean, it could probably go a long way towards causing the build to happen, yes. The D-Class does sit and look at me. Actually, no, it doesn't, because I don't ever go in the kit drawer at the moment. But every time I open the kit drawer up, it looks at me and says, "Please build me, please." Thank you, Linny. I'm glad you approve. Time to start on the complicated Stroudley door handles for this side. It's amazing how much easier things become when you use a brain and don't try and do everything with 2 hands when you need 6. Oh. So that one goes. That one, yeah, they both stick out from that door, right. 40 of the Brighton loco, excellent, thank you. That's not a kit build though, that's just a paint job. The Chatham D-Class, Harry? So at South East Finecast still sell the kit. You can get it direct from them, brand new. That loop's too big. Yeah, that should be about enough to lose off it. And it's quite easy to lose a bit off and just pull it round to shape with the pliers. No, that's too much. Look, what we do there. Ah, yes, okay, I see. No, you can't buy off the website. I see South Eastern Finecast at least once a year at my club show, because he's quite local to us. That's better looking. Much happier with how that looks now. Go through the hole. Yes, much better. What shows that? It is the Uckfield show. I am a member of the Uckfield Model Railway Club. It is a great show. I'm totally not biased. You should definitely take my opinion that it's amazing. Because it is. Let's actually check it before. Yeah, that looks about right. I'm going to snip this end off because that hasn't snipped very cleanly. Yeah, much better. in fact, we can avoid my bias on the Uckfield show by asking Linny, because Linny came along last year. Oh, excellent. I would be glad to see you there. The show is in October. It's the third weekend of October every year. I don't know what dates that makes it this year, but it'll be around the 20th. And if you do decide you'll come into a showdown, in fact, if you decide you'll come into any show in the general region of East Sussex, please do let me know, because if I'm there it would be great to meet up and say hi in person. Yeah, I decided to skip the not sponsored bit because I don't think I can be sponsored by myself. There we go. After a bit of wrestling with it, one handrail, cut down those legs off the back and get it stuck in. No, don't fall. I have to reschedule this year's plans. Fair enough. Like I say, if you do come to a show in East Sussex, it would be great, because I don't attend a lot of shows out of area, just purely because of travelling with the kids. But you know, at some point in the near future, I'll get my website up and running. Everyone will have a way of contacting me. So if you're around in a show in this area, let me know. Too high, that's the easier of the problems to fix. And there goes another roof spar. This of course is the problem with super glue. It sticks really well, but it doesn't last. I would tell Luke to refresh the stream, but you know, there's only about 40 minutes left. By the time he sees this bit, it will be over. And there we go. Hoping that's showing up okay. I've got chat in front of me on the screen because for some reason it's showing up on my phone, but obviously not on YouTube. Yeah, the good thing about South Eastern Finecast is the bloke that runs it, Dave, is a lovely, lovely bloke. Will do anything he can to help you out. You know, except for add online ordering. But he's a wonderful guy. Always nice having a chat with him. You know, he will quite happily make up kits that are out of production if he still has the tools to do it. Hang on, Mr. Host, how do you stream to YouTube? I am using Streamlabs on my phone. The Streamlabs app on the phone. I do not go through the laptop because the laptop wouldn't handle it. And I have the Streamlabs apps all set up properly on the phone. We know they work because they have worked in the past. We got them for a little bit after my phone died and was revived. So there we have handrails on both sides. If I do go to the exhibition, I have to sort him. Yes, as I say, he's a wonderful guy. It's very, very helpful. Right. How's this doing? A little bit tacky still. We're going to leave that alone for now. These are probably okay to be left out now, to be honest. Because the roof has formed a lot better than I was expecting it to. So, our next job is lamp irons. Of which, on Brighton engines, there were... Brighton brake vans, sorry. One on each of these uprights and one on each end sticking out sideways. Shaping the wisdom stop people on such streams from mobile device direct. Yes, I saw about them doing that. It was rather strange, wasn't it? I don't know why they've done that, but you know, obviously the solution to that is for everyone to spread the word about how wonderful my streams are and get some more subscribers in. You know, smash that like button. Like, subscribe, join into chat where you have a great time here. 1,000? Oh, yeah, okay. I knew it had happened, I wasn't sure on the number. So we've really, really got to spread that word. Get everyone in. Set your dog up a YouTube account and get that to subscribe if you want. That's probably against YouTube's rules even saying that, so I'm just going to point out I am joking. Don't actually set up an account for your dog. Lamp irons. So we come back to my good friend, the staples. Of course, these are all the staples I have. 1, 2... Okay. Gary can count. 1, 2, 3, 5. I have 5 staples left. It's not a lot, but these are how we make lamp irons. I don't think there's any left on here to show. There's one left, but it's not very good. It's actually just reminding me of another detail we've missed. So I'm going to break off a staple. I missed a load of the North American Thank you, Harry. Brilliant. Hit like for doggo accounts. Hit subscribe for doggo accounts. Like, subscribe, everything in your power. So, lamp irons, staples, they're brilliant. All we need to do is put a bit of a bend in them. And in fact, then a reverse bend. Snip it off. And that gives us our tiny little lamp iron, which should have been done before the paint, but Gary doesn't think and he misses things out. Each of these brake vans had 8 of these. Paste adverts onto billboards for doggo accounts. No, paste adverts onto billboards for my account and get people to subscribe to me. Now, the only thing with these lamp irons is this method is no good to you if you like consistency. You may have gathered by now that's not the biggest problem with me. My modelling is much more about having fun than it is about getting it right. Although I do want it to be right, so you know. It's not all about fun. And there is 4 lamp irons from 1 staple. So I'm only going to need 2 staples to do this, so it's okay that I only had 5 left. I really do need to get down the shop and get some more though. Cell phone tools for D4, I could easily mail him and ask for one. Luke, you could phone him and ask for one. Not that you'll ever hear this because you're so far behind on the stream. But you could. Now, as we hit 11:30, I'd like to point out that at no point did I promise a finished brake van in this stream. I might have, I might have called the stream finished in the brake van, but I did put a question mark on that. So if you came here tonight expecting a finished brake van, that's on you. 5 little lamp irons. Six little lamp irons. I don't think Seth will exist by the time Luke catches up. It's quite possible, Harry. Dave will have retired by then. I've lost count again because I'm Gary and I can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come off. Come off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sure I had 6 a second ago and should now have more than that. I did have 6 a second ago. There's number 7, still caught in the pliers. Now, I never quite got 4 out of that one. So I'm going to have to cut up another staple for 1 lamp iron. But that's fine, because who needs to stick bits of paper together when you can make trains? Hold still. Without me cutting my fingers, there we go. And yes, I do get the irony of me straightening out staples so that I can bend them again. No one needs to bring it up. And there we have lamp iron number 8. Definitely no consistency in these. This one, for example, is way too long on this side. I'm actually going to snip a bit of that off. And the same goes for this one. Now, are you magnetic? Yes. You have become magnetised. That's not helpful. You also have ceramic tweezers. It is. Ceramic tweezers are brilliant. All my other tools have become magnetised over time from all the time they spend around magnets servicing locos. Ceramic tweezers will never do that because they're not metal. They also don't conduct heat, which means when I'm soldering with them, I could hold something this size with them quite happily and solder it. Okay, I'll pick it up by hand. Now, I could hold that like that against something and solder it on, and I would get no heat in my fingers from doing it, because no heat travels up these. I'll ask Dad's work to brand Australia advertising your things. Luke, ladies and gentlemen, about a week behind the rest of us. Is Luke actually still watching last week's stream? Can someone confirm this? Because I think he might actually be so far behind he's watching last week's stream. I want you to comment about that thing and let me know which week's stream you're watching when you hear that. Luke, by the way, you know, if that's before the stream ends. Big if there. So it's dipping the end in the glue. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah. So that's in line with the fourth one up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the problem here, of course, is getting them to stay upright. Once the glue's set a little bit, that's not so much of an issue. Oh look, I see my hair on stream. So now, when you actually see me on stream, you're very privileged. It's always by accident. I do not like actually appearing on the camera. Although I am aware it's inevitable. Seven minutes behind, is that it, Luke? I think you're more than 7 minutes behind. He probably is, yes. Yes, Mr. Lancaster, he probably is enjoying this brake van that I am just beginning to scratch build. Although that was also quite some time ago that I made those comments about him being a week behind, so you might also be quite far behind. Right, Luke, if you're not behind anymore, then type something now to say you're still not behind, and we'll see how long that is after you've typed that first "I'm not behind anymore" message. I'm not waiting for it though. Yeah, that might have been half an hour ago for you, Alex, but it's only just happened for Luke. And yes, I know he's not behind in chat. Nope, still not behind. Okay, brilliant. Oh, okay. I'll let you off then. That one is gone forever. Again, this is the issue with having everything digitized, because they're not great for holding things for this sort of job. These might do the trick though. Yes, they do. Oh, it's me on stream again. Why do you people allow me to do these things? Surely seeing me on stream makes you want to turn it off. So now you can see we are starting to turn it into Cthulhu, with all these tentacles sticking out from it. Kind of what we were after, but also kind of not. since I've had to bin one, I'm just going to make another one quickly. You all thought I was never going to see that again, didn't you? Well, you were wrong. Because it only landed in my chair. Thank you, Mr. Lancaster. I'm glad you think it looks fantastic. I assume you also think it looks quite a bit like Cthulhu with all its tentacles. 1, 2, 3, 4. The problem now, of course, is I can't put this down on this end. Oh, really, Harry? Do they? Sorry about that. I don't mean to make your etched brass things that you've got look bad. Ooh, actual modelling from Luke. And he can tell us about it at a relevant time because he's not a year behind on stream. I mean, I keep increasing the time he is behind because I assume it just gets further and further and further. Two more to do, 15 minutes left of stream. I've had a great time again, I hope everyone else has. Excellent, thank you guys. I am glad you think so. Enjoy my silly voices, the kids do. I'm glad it travels well, even if the sound doesn't. But of course we all know that's just because light travels faster than sound. Lamp irons, done. Oh. So, how is this doing now? Oh, that's much better. Let's put it back together. hear glue breaking. Believe, Luke. What you mean is some people appear smart before they talk. Thank you for proving the point, though. It does still fit. That totally didn't just happen. Just put that back on and pretend it didn't. I'll repair it through the week. And you guys will never know, will you? No, darling, we won't. I hope you enjoyed that silly voice because, you know, as I said, enjoy my silly voice. As we are nearly done. I want you that way round. That way round. Couplings refitted. Body back on. Roof on. I want it that way round actually. Don't ask why. Ladies and gentlemen, one very, very nearly finished brake fan. I wonder if it does sit better the other way round actually. Not really. One very nearly finished LBSC brake fan. I am very, very happy with that. Once this has dried properly and I have got it stuck down, that should curve nicely. We've already lost the lamp iron. I'm going to say now though, I'm not surprised by that in the slightest. Let's take all these bits apart. That's dry enough to just sit down now. There it is. Thank you everyone. I am glad you have learnt a lot, Ian. That is the reasoning behind me doing these streams, is I want everyone to learn. these lamp irons will be fine given a bit more time. I quite often, when I'm making lamp irons like this, have to replace a few. So I am very happy with how that's gone this evening. I'd like to remind everyone that a few weeks ago we sat down here with a sheet of black plasticard. And that brake van is now that plasticard. Hello, James Pets. You join us just as we are getting ready to end the stream. We have been working on this Brighton brake van. It is coming along very well. Oh, I'm glad you learnt how handy a linny can be, Harry. They're very, very useful. Everyone should have a linny. And everyone should look after their linny. So yes. A few weeks ago we sat down with a sheet of black plasticard with some paper stuck to it. That paper looked a bit like that. Which is now this brake van. Anyone can do this. I hope one thing you have all taken from this is that it's not hard. Yes, it takes some patience. And yes, you will hurt yourself, but it is not hard. I think next week we'll see us get very, very close, if not very actually finished. I think I'm actually going to have to think about the next project in time for next week. If anyone has anything they would like to see, please do let me know. You can find me on Twitter at Oak Hill Railway, on Instagram at Oak Hill Railway, on RM Web as Blue Lightning. I am always contactable. My mailbox is always open. If you have anything you want to see, any questions you want to ask, please do. Thank you for coming, everyone. It has been absolutely brilliant. And I look forward to seeing you all next week, where we shall finish this brake van. Hopefully, and if we're really good, get some transfers on it and start on the next project. As I said, I have an idea of what I'd like to do, but I would love to hear from you guys if you have anything you'd like to see. Thank you. Oh, Luke, yes, request. If you ask requests, I do like a nice carriage. Okay, I can certainly look at carriages. I have some ideas for things I'd like to do for carriages. I would happily look at your airbrush on stream if you get it out to me, Luke. No, I'm not making you a long boiler, Mr. Lancaster. I will, however, make myself one at some point. Not necessarily a northeastern one. So I like the idea of looking at carriages. I've got a good idea for that we could look at next week. That may well be what we look at. So make sure you're here on time next week, James. 9 o'clock UK time. Good night, everyone, and thank you for coming.